Episode 2 begins exactly where the last scene left off, where it seemed like Alucia had no choice left but to stand his ground and fight. The truth was, he had no idea how he would defeat such a massive monster. Suddenly, the divine voice began screaming in his mind, warning him that if he wanted to stay alive, he had to run away. Alucia knew the voice was right, but he couldn't just abandon Maria to die, especially when she had saved his life just minutes ago. So, even though his own life was at risk, he had to do something. He revealed himself to shift the dragon's attention from Maria to him. As soon as the dragon charged toward him, he used his roll skill to dive and slam straight into the dragon's face. After landing, Alucia noticed that one of Maria's companions was lying nearby on the ground, but his HP had already dropped to 0, meaning there was no point in trying to help him now. The second man was slightly luckier as he still had 5 HP left, but he was pinned badly under a fallen tree and wouldn't survive much longer. Alucia realized that if he wanted to save them, he had to act fast. He devised a plan to provoke the dragon further by bouncing on its head, then pretending to flee so the dragon would chase him. This way, he could lead the beast away from the humans, then circle back to rescue them. However, the dragon wasn't as stupid as he thought. Instead of chasing him into the jungle, the dragon used a skill to shatter the ground in front of Alucia, causing him to crash when degenerating. It was now clear that he could never defeat this thing in his current state. He had to run while the dragon was busy regenerating. The problem was he couldn't carry both humans at once, so he made a very tough decision. He would save Maria and leave the other man behind, knowing fully well that the man would eventually become dragon food. He carried Maria far away, but due to bloodloss human settlement where she could get treatment, he picked up the scent of humans from a certain direction, so he picked her up and ran that way. However, on the way, he picked up another concerning smell. It was a pack of dozens of gray wolves closing in, likely tracking Maria's bleeding body. Eventually, he was surrounded on all sides with no room to face the wolves. During the fight, Maria regained consciousness slightly and hazily saw Alucia fighting to protect her, but she was too weak to move, so she passed out again. It was late at night. Alucia was still carrying Maria, and his body was at its limit, but his hard work saved Maria. But since he is a dragon, the people only heard a monster roaring. When the villagers came out to check, they saw a monster holding Maria's unconscious body. They immediately assumed Alucia was a threat and attacked him. No matter how hard Alucia worked, he realized he couldn't convince the humans he wasn't an enemy. So he quietly placed Maria on the ground and ran back toward the jungle to avoid causing more trouble. Sometime later, Maria woke up in her bed to find Marielle sitting beside her. Marielle explained that Maria had been badly wounded, requiring a lot of white magic to heal, and she had been unconscious for about 2 days. Since Maria didn't remember much of the incident, Marielle assumed someone had brought her to the village. Then Marielle scolded her about how reckless it was to go into the jungle alone with Dawes and Gantz. When Maria asked about the two of them, Marielle had no good news. She explained that after finding Maria, they went looking for the others. They found Gantz's dead body. As for Dawes, they didn't find his body, but they found a large pool of blood near a tree, leading them to believe a monster had eaten him. Maria began to cry, thinking of her lost friends, and blamed herself for not stopping Dawes. Marielle tried to comfort her, saying Dawes was always a hot-headed fool who never listened to warnings. But Maria insisted that even though he was hasty, he was a good person who had his warrior pride. One night at a bar, someone told him he couldn't defeat the rock dragon. He took it to heart and set out the next day with Gantz to kill it. Maria had tried to stop him, but when he wouldn't listen, she went with them to ensure they came back alive. But the plan failed. Not make such mistakes again, then praised her for managing to return on her own. Maria was confused because she thought she had been unconscious. Marielle assumed Maria had walked back and then was attacked by a baby dragon near the village. However, Maria explained that she had passed out deep inside the jungle, so she couldn't have walked back herself. She recalled seeing Alucia fighting the wolves and realized that perhaps he was the one who saved her, but she couldn't be sure. Meanwhile, Alucia woke up from his sleep to find all his wounds fully healed. He was surprised that a simple nap healed him. If he were human, recovery would have taken much longer. He thought about Maria, wondering if she was leveling up made him strong, but the reality was he was still just as powerful as he was in the
the egg. If he were truly strong, he might have saved the other man too. But dwelling on the past was useless. He had to focus on getting stronger. Later that day, Alucia found a colony of dark worms and turned them into his personal XP farm. He committed genocide on the entire colony. By the time he stopped, not a single worm was left alive, and he had officially reached level 25. Dragon, a protective spirit that can use healing magic. Alucia found this appealing, remembering Maria, but its combat potential was very low, and he needed fighting power to survive in the jungle. Kid Marble Dragon has a mutation, giving it a polka dot young plague dragon. It is the first stage of an evil dragon that spreads disaster. Alucia immediately rejected it because he didn't want to be evil. People were already afraid of him. But then the system mentioned that the plague dragon possesses the ability to transform into a human. Hearing this, Alucia froze and began to rethink. If he could take human form, he could finally talk to people and make friends. And if becoming an evil dragon was the price for that, perhaps it wasn't such a bad deal after all. Episode 2 ends right there.